Thank you for joining us this evening for the results of Winchester Student Union's officer elections. My name is Tiff Burnett and I am the Union's Student Engagement Manager. I'm also the Deputy Returning Officer for these elections. A huge thank you to everyone who voted in this year's elections. Our voting turnout was 22.42%, which means that 1,487 students voted, which we're pleased to say has surpassed our target of 20% turnout. Sector average turnout for the last 2 years has been between 11 and 12%, so we're really pleased to see so many of you using your vote here at Winchester to decide who your elected officers are for the year ahead. Also, as our 20% turnout target was met, we can confirm that our stretch goal incentive of a free ice cream van has been achieved. As such, we will be bringing an ice cream van onto campus for a day in May, giving out free ice cream, so do keep an eye on our upcoming Student Union newsletters and social media for details. Before we find out the results, I just wanted to take a moment to congratulate all the candidates who ran in this year's elections. You have all done a fantastic job running in the election and you should be so proud of what you've achieved, regardless of the results this evening. So for the results, I will be reading these out in the order of student officers, Vice President Activities and Services, Vice President Education and Welfare, and finally Student Union President. A reminder that we use the single transferable voting system for our elections, which allows voters to rank candidates in order of preference. As such, each election has a quota and often there are various stages of each election where votes are transferred. In the election of student officer, due to a withdrawal, one fewer candidates stood than seats initially available. This resulted in a seat reduction of 1 in this election. As such, a by-election to fill the available officer post will be called in due course. In the election of student officer, the number of votes cast was 1,365. There are 4 vacancies and the quota to be elected was 20% of the valid votes cast. Therefore, the quota for this position was 273 votes. In the election of student officer, there were 5 candidates: Glenn Craker, Jennifer Crowdy, Kayla Ellington, Alexandra Wilson, and Ron, which stands for Reopen Nominations. In stage 1, Alexandra Wilson and Kayla Ellington met quota. Glenn Craker received 182 first preference votes, Jennifer Crowdy received 135 first preference votes, Kayla Ellington received 495 first preference votes, Alexandra Wilson received 505 first preference votes, and Ron received 48 first preference votes. As noted, Alexandra Wilson and Kayla Ellington met quota and therefore have been duly elected. As 2 further seats are available in this election, and as no further candidates reach quota, Alexandra Wilson and Kayla Ellington's surplus votes above quota were transferred to next preferences. In stage 1 transfers, Glenn Craker and Jennifer Crowdy met quota. Glenn Craker received 165 transfers for a total of 347 votes. Jennifer Crowdy received 174 transfers for a total of 309 votes. Ron received 10 transfers for a total of 58 votes. As noted, Glenn Craker and Jennifer Crowdy met quota and have therefore been duly elected. As no further seats remain, we've removed the candidates with the fewest votes, which was Ron. I can therefore confirm that Glenn Craker, Jennifer Crowdy, Kayla Ellington and Alexandra Wilson have been duly elected as your student officers for 2020-23 to 2024. As previously noted, a by-election will take place in due course for the final vacant student officer post, so please do keep an eye on our website and our social media for more details. In the election of Vice President Activities and Services, the number of votes cast was 1,381. There is 1 vacancy and the quota to be elected was 50% of the valid votes cast. Therefore, the quota for this position was 690.5 votes. In the election of Vice President Activities and Services, there were 3 candidates: Emily Jane Aldridge Snell, Harry Jones, and Ron, which stands for Reopen Nominations. In stage 1, Emily Jane Aldridge Snell received 808 first preference votes and met quota. Harry Jones received 527 first preference votes, and Ron received 46 first preference votes. As quota was met, I can confirm that Emily Jane Aldridge Snell has been duly re-elected as your Vice President Activities and Services 2023 to 2024. In the election of Vice President Education and Welfare, the number of votes cast was 1,386. There is one vacancy and the quota to be elected was 50% of the valid votes cast. Therefore, the quota for this position was 693 votes. In the election of Vice President Education and Welfare, there were 3 candidates: Tanis Best, Sal Fox and Ron, which stands for Reopen Nominations. In Stage 1, Tanis Best received 543 first preference votes, Sal Fox received 746 first preference votes and met quota, and Ron received 97 first preference votes. As quota was met, I can confirm that Sal Fox has been duly elected as your Vice President Education and Welfare 2023 to 2024. In the election of Student Union President, the number of votes cast was 1,439. There is one vacancy and the quota to be elected was 50% of the valid votes cast. Therefore, the quota for this position was 719.5 votes. In the election of Student Union President, there were 2 candidates, Charlotte Baker and Ron, which stands for Reopen Nominations. In Stage 1, Charlotte Baker received 1,208 first preference votes. Ron received 231 first preference votes. As quota was met, I can confirm that Charlotte Baker has been duly re-elected as your Student Union President 2023 to 2024. The results of these elections are posted in full on our website, so please do be sure to check those out. All your newly elected officers-elect will formally take office on the 1st of July 2023. So that brings us to a close for Winchester Student Union's Officer Elections 2023. Congratulations to all of our candidates for running in this year's elections. Thank you to all our members who voted, and thank you for watching this evening's results.